the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a beautiful Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee from our new digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. A lot of football today, a lot of it centered around the Tennessee-Florida game Saturday in Gainesville. First things first, however, if you have not heard, the fears about Aaron Rodgers are true. It is an Achilles issue, and he is out for the year, which is just a really sad story. In about 5 minutes, we'll get with Kelly on that and get the lowdown of what all this means, either for Aaron Rodgers' future or maybe not for his future. But first, given that it's football season, we start every show with Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update, and it's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady, and through the folks at USA Mortgage, that's absolutely possible. Dial her up at 615-969-4350. Terry McCormick joins us from Main Street Media. Terry, in the Jets' search for a backup now for Zach Wilson, any chance they zero in on Malik Willis?
Wouldn't think so. I would think that they probably roll with Zach Wilson and then sign somebody who has a little bit of familiarity with their system and that sort of thing to be the backup role. They had a guy named Chris Streveler in camp with them. He might be a possibility. They could always roll out and come back with Joe Flacco, who has been the backup there for the last couple of years.
Oh, good Lord. He's 60.
Well,
he's got
Aaron
an
Rodgers
AARP card. Watch him move around.
So does Aaron Rodgers. I mean, come on, George.
Okay, let me ask this question, and then we'll get to the Titans. Who is the best available quarterback right now, not on anybody's roster? And I'm thinking, now all of a sudden I can't think of him from Philadelphia.
I would say Colt McCoy would probably be about the best you could do.
Okay. Everybody's given up on help me from Indy and Washington and
Carson Wentz. That's a possibility.
I've heard Matt Ryan.
I guess you could always make the phone call to Tom Brady to see if he was interested, but I don't see that one happening.
Okay. Let's get to the Titans. What's the news?
Well, George, today is a day off, and the Titans will be, I'm sure, kind of going ahead and getting ready to game plan for the Chargers, trying to put that week one loss in New Orleans in the rearview mirror and get ready to move forward and try to get a game plan together to end this 8-game losing streak now, George, and see what they can do against the LA Chargers. Won't be easy because the Chargers can put up some points, and the Titans didn't score more than 27 in a game all year last year, and then week one, they laid another egg, scoring 15. So it's probably going to be on the defense's shoulders to come up big in this one and hope that the offense can find something going forward.
Terry, what do we know on Hooker at this point?
Don't know much yet, George. I think it'll be one of those situations that probably will be monitored throughout the week. I would guess that being in the concussion protocol, I'd be shocked if he's out there at practice on Wednesday. I guess it's always a possibility, but I wouldn't look for it as a likelihood. They'll have to monitor him as the game goes on. If they don't have him on Sunday, that's a big chunk gone out of that defense. They'll probably wind up going with Elijah Molden back there, who is kind of new to the safety position. They had moved him there from nickel. And then, of course, once Christian Fulton was out for a while, they wound up moving Roger McCrary to the outside and putting Elijah Molden back in the nickel. So a little bit of maneuvering around already here in week one for the Titans.
Okay, assuming the offense is a little bit better, and God knows it needs to be, doesn't this game ultimately get won on whether the Titans' front four defensive linemen can get the kind of pressure on Justin Herbert that they did against Burrow in the playoffs, that they did against Derek Carr a couple of days ago? Doesn't it come down to that?
Sure, I think that's always going to be a big part of it when you're talking about the Titans. They need big performances from Jeffrey Simmons, from Danico Autry, from Arden Key, from Harold Landry. If those guys are on their game, it will give the Titans a chance to stay in this one, even though they are offensively challenged right now, George. That they're going to go as this defense goes right now, and then you got to hope that the offense improves as this thing goes on. I don't think the offense can get a whole lot worse, and I don't think Ryan Tannehill can play a whole lot worse than he did on Sunday. So, if Tannehill is better, the offense should be better. But they've got to find a nice balance here between Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears. They're going to need both of these guys. But to me, they did not use Derrick Henry enough in a ball game that was eminently winnable if they just pin their ears back and say, we're going to line up and we're going to run the football with Derrick Henry in the second half and see if you can stop it.
I think they know it, probably not willing publicly to admit it, and I can't blame them.
Yeah, it's something that is obvious, but they're not going to tell you that they messed up by not giving Derrick Henry the football enough. In the past, they've been accused of being too reliant on Derrick Henry, but they've got to find that happy medium, George.
Terry, good stuff as always. We'll do it again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Sounds good.
Terry McCormick's Daily Titans Update brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. She wants to be your mortgage lady. And through the folks at USA Mortgage, that is absolutely possible. Dial her up, 615-969-4350. Okay, I think all of us who saw the game last night had a sick feeling when Aaron Rodgers, it looked like he was going to get up, and then all of a sudden, when he sat back down, Kelly, I knew then this is not good.
Yeah, we were watching the game. My wife said, I think he messed up his ankle. And then I looked at it, and you could tell when he took that last step with that foot that it probably was a Achilles injury. And if you've been around that before, you see his calf start spasming, and that's kind of a telltale sign of Achilles. So, they were trying to – everybody was speculating, but you could tell that – he had an Achilles deal going on. Now, whether it ruptured, I don't know, but that's kind of the telltale sign. I've had a bunch of guys that I played with that had that. That's just tough. It's tough for that to happen, and then for Zach Wilson be thrust in that spot because they brought Nathaniel Hackett in. Nathaniel Hackett was the offensive coordinator in Green Bay when Aaron Rodgers was there, so they're well acquainted with each other, kind of know each other. Things seemed like they were going in the right direction. Robert Saleh talked about how much of a coach and kind of a mentor that Aaron Rodgers was, and it kind of sucks that happened. After it was literally, I think it was the fourth play, was it not?
Yeah,
the fourth play of the game.
Fourth play.
Crazy.
So, Kelly, speculate here for me. He's 40 years old. He's got more money than God. And there's a group out there going, why would he want to put himself through this to try to get back and be a Jet a year from now? Then there's another group saying this is the last way in the world that he wants to go out. Where do you weigh in?
I don't know. I don't know where he is in his life. Obviously, like you just said, he's got enough money, but I don't think, everybody says, well, money's the driving issue. Well, when you get to that point in your career, money's no object. So what is driving you? I think the competition is that's what drove me. That's what drives most of these guys, the competitive spirit that they have in them. And I don't know, it could be a career ender for him because he's older. There's no question about that. When you get old, you just do not heal as fast as when you were younger and when you first came to the NFL. So I don't know what the future holds for Aaron Rodgers. It's just really sad. It's really bad for the organization because they put so much. They gave him a lot of money, and I don't know. We'll just have to see what goes forward. I will say this. It's kind of like what's happening in Dallas. I mean, I think that's why Mike McCarthy took over the play calling, because he didn't like, some of the things that were called, and he wasn't the offensive coordinator, although he was the head coach. But he knows that he can rely on that defense, and the Jets have the same type of defense. They won that game. Like, Buffalo could score points last year, and they turned. I mean, Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times. He had 3 interceptions. He had a fumble. And that's why they stayed in the game, because that defensive line can get pressure without bringing pressure. And they just create havoc. So if you can just get Zach Wilson to just not turn the ball over, that one interception he had was really bad. I don't know where he was throwing that ball. He's just got to he's got to kind of grow up, and he's got to get more mature, kind of like Billy, at times.
Wow. Had to get a jab in there.
Hello, Billy. Welcome to the show.
But I mean, he's got to cut that stuff out, because if he doesn't turn the ball over and he just makes the monotonous plays, just let the defense work, put you in situations, and y'all win a lot. You'll win a lot of games, and they can be in it at the end just because of their defense.
Kelly, let me ask you guys this question. When Zach Wilson came in the game, they went Gerber's baby food offensively.
Correct.
I mean, it was as simple can get. Charlie, check down, hand off, go sit on the bench. Are they? I'm not going to sit here and believe they're good enough without Aaron Rodgers to get to a Super Bowl. So here's a realistic question. Is their defense good enough if Wilson doesn't poop the bed for them to make the playoffs?
I mean, by the way, if they play like they did, I know Josh Allen gave them some Christmas gifts, right? Not every quarterback's going to do that every game.
Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's. I mean,
the Jets cornerback, what's his name? Whitehead. He was their second leading receiver. He had 3 catches. They were all interceptions.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not going to happen every game, but they have a good defense. I mean, I don't know if I'd say top 5, but I mean, that's a top 10, I think, defense in the league. But is it enough against your elite offenses?
I would go more like top 4.
Really?
I would too. Like like you got Dallas, you got San Francisco. The Jets are up there with them, man. I mean, they can get some pressure on, and it seems like the defense are kind of taking this thing over. I mean, it's just, if they can do that every game, yes, they can make the playoffs. But that NFC or that AFC East is that's kind of a juggernaut right now. New England's been there for 20 years with Tom Brady, and they're kind of the low man on the totem pole. But you see what Tua did the other day. You still got Josh Allen in Buffalo. They've won it the last 3 years, and now you got the Jets. If their defense plays like that, which they can, they're pretty consistent. They can make the playoffs, but it's going to be tough in that division.
And they also, they had the punt return. You'll need things like that, right, Kelly?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You got it. I mean, it's a total team game. That's why there's 3 aspects to the game. You got offense, defense, and special teams. And special teams can win games for you, and they can lose games for you.
The punter
a sad attempt at attack. What was that?
On the punt return.
He's a punter.
That was an Olay. Let me show you what it is.
That looked like George trying to make a tackle.
Let me show you. Hello? It was Olay. Come on through.
He's a punter. What do you want him to do? He's a punter.
Don't give me that.
He's paid to kick.
He's a punter. He's a football player.
No, he's a punter. Punters and kickers are not true football players.
Come on. I mean, he's an NFL player. He doesn't have to make that tackle, but he's gonna have a better effort than Olay in him. That was awful.
He's a punter, Billy.
It was an Olay. So
I mean, if it gets to the punter, fellas, it's over.
Yes,
more times than not. But that was one of the worst attempts I've ever seen.
It was bad. So if Aaron Rodgers went into the dark room back in the summer as he was making the decision, what kind of dark room? I mean, look, this is one time I really feel for him.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of like a football tragedy.
It was really weird too. During the broadcast, it brought me back. This isn't even close, but it brought you back to some of the devastation of the Damar Hamlin. I know that was totally different, but having Ryan Clark and Scott Van Pelt, the way they were talking about it, there was so much buildup to this season, and it's gone in an instant.
In 4 plays. I mean, he had barely finished what was a classic pregame.
Yeah.
Where he takes that American flag out there. And I mean, it gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
First of all, when they did the anthem and they had the woman police officer and she said, "This is our national anthem. Everybody sing." And it gave me goosebumps. And then 4 plays later, it was like popping a balloon.
It really was. I mean, it was
awful.
Yeah, it was awful. And you could tell that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman wanted to talk about it, but at some point, at some point you got to move on. I mean, you have to move on. And they tried to speculate a little bit, but it's always the next guy up. I know that's so cliche, and it is, but it's actually true. When somebody goes down, the next guy's got to step up. He didn't play a perfect game. Zach Wilson didn't, but he's got some talent. He's just got to learn not to turn the ball over. And that's the same thing for Josh Allen, man. My former team, I'm a Bills. I love the Bills. I enjoy watching them, but like he just does some things. Like it seemed like last night he was so hyped up and so perked up because he wanted to play good in front of his idol, which was Aaron Rodgers. He talked about that before the game. Yeah. And then he's running around and he's taking these hits. He's jumping up in the – he's going to get hurt if he does not take care of himself. You saw Sean McDermott on the sideline going, let's think, let's be smart. And some of the things he did last night was not very smart. And if he plays like that, they're going to be lucky to win a bunch of games.
What he needs to tell Josh Allen is, look, if you get hurt, the punter is next.
Yeah, we have nothing. Come on, guy.
Okay.
Can I throw this out there, though, George? What do you think of the Jets' offensive line, Kelly? I didn't think they were particularly good.
They knew that going in.
Zach Wilson got hit a lot, and
I'll say. Go ahead. Sorry.
I don't want to say this was bound to happen because I feel awful saying that, but it's almost like this was going to be a problem protecting Aaron Rodgers this year. So I don't know. It's almost like you felt like something tragic, whether it was Rodgers getting hurt or a concussion, whatever. That O-line, that O-line did not look good.
They've got.
Well, I haven't been able to see the Hard Knocks stuff. I don't have HBO here, so I haven't been able to watch it. But I do know that they have issues with the O-line. But I will say this: if they can keep Breece Hall healthy, that dude's a stud. He's a stud. And now they got Dalvin Cook too. So they got 2 really good running backs. And if they can just stay ahead of the chains, play small ball a little bit, and keep it away from the other team and let their defense play, they got a shot. They got a shot to be in the playoffs and a shot to do something in that division.
How about that Garrett Wilson catch?
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable.
On the lob.
He just sort of, kind of palmed it and then brought it back over. That was crazy.
He's played some basketball somewhere.
Yeah.
After the break, we're going to get into the matchup of the week. Tennessee, Florida, from the swamp in Gainesville. Tony Basilio will join us from Knoxville. Later, Paul Kennedy will join us from down in the Tampa area. So we've got this game covered from pillar to post. Stick around. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
I'm Watson Brown.
I'm Kelly Holcomb.
I'm Billy Derrick.
We're the George Plaster Show. We've been Nashville's best sports talk for the last 30 years. And you know what? We still are.
Catch us live weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. Central Time in Nashville on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, the podcast version is available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Okay, we welcome all of you back. This is fun stuff. Big game Saturday in the Swamp, which is a tough place. 6 o'clock Nashville time, Tennessee and Florida on ESPN. And joining us from Knoxville for his weekly visit is Tony Basilio. Tony, how you doing?
Gentlemen, I'm doing great, and it is certainly a tough place for the Vols. I'm not sure how tough a place it is for everybody else, but it's a tough place for Tennessee.
So let's sort of take these two teams and kind of talk through them a little bit.
Yep.
On the Tennessee front, if Joe Milton has to win the game late, is he good enough?
That's a Kelly question, not a Tony question, but I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, George, he was not good over the weekend. They were not good over the weekend. They were startingly bad over the weekend, and their passing game was atrocious. Now, their numbers didn't say that when the game was over, but like a lot of things in college football, statistically, numbers can really be deceiving. And that's a great question about Joe Milton. In a close Southeastern Conference game, can he function? And that very much remains to be seen.
I've always thought, Tony, when I saw him at Michigan and early at Tennessee, that it was grab the sawdust out of the ball and try to win the battle of the radar gun and see how hard you could throw it. Did he revert back to that against Austin Peay?
No, he just wasn't accurate. Look, there's throwing guys open, and then when guys are open, throwing to the wrong shoulder. And our fan base is so cheering for Joe Milton that many are kind of, I guess, hesitant to criticize him. And a guy sent me a text today when I was on the air, and we were talking about the quarterback issues Tennessee's had. And he says, well, I totaled it up, and there were 176 yards of receiving that if the receivers would have caught balls. I mean, come on, man. Look, when you throw the ball as hard as he does, and you don't put it on the money or close to on the money, like when you're putting it on the back shoulder and you're throwing it a million miles an hour, NFL receivers aren't catching those balls, let alone major college receivers. And then what happened was they got out of their rhythm in their passing game. And that pretty much led to them having lapses of concentration in that position the rest of the night. Because once you get the ball rolling, it's kind of like in baseball when you see an infielder make an error, then another guy does, and you're like, uh-oh, going to be one of these nights. That's kind of what happened with Tennessee's passing game the other night.
So let me try it this way. Saturday night, Sunday, when the coaching staff reconvened, did anybody in that room say, if this continues in Gainesville, we got to think about Nico?
George, I've asked several sources that very question, and the thing I keep getting back is we need Joe Milton to play well. Now, what isn't a good sign for Tennessee, or is it? I don't know. But through 2 games, they felt the need, the veterans on the team, to call a team meeting after the game the other night. Players-only meeting. Is that a good sign, a bad sign? I hear that the wide receivers are highly upset at the quarterback play, are blaming the lack of accuracy for their poor numbers thus far. But certainly they've been culpable as well. I don't think Tennessee wants to go to a true freshman quarterback just yet anyway. Look, if you can get to midseason and you want to do that, and the record dictates that, or you want to go the Clemson route, they pulled the plug. I was looking it up. They pulled the plug on Kelly Bryant 5 games into his, I guess, would have been junior season.
Yeah.
For the kid that's at Jacksonville now, and they never lost a game. They went and won the national championship, and he threw 24 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. But look, Clemson playing in the ACC versus the SEC. I mean, I just think that's different caliber of football myself.
So in that meeting where somebody is bound to have brought it up, ultimately Heupel is the one, as the CEO, the head coach, who has to make the call. What are you hearing about where he's leaning in all this?
He does not, George, want to make a quarterback change. However, I was looking up some numbers, and I have them over my blog today over at tclub.team. I did kind of a deep dive on their numbers. Tennessee's 97th in the country in EPA passing, which is a advanced metric statistic that factors in who you've played. So it kind of weights the world of college football against the world of college football. I think the number's 79 in the country in yards passing, but they're actually 97 in the country compared to their peers because they haven't really played, anybody tough. And so the point is that they're basically struggling against air right now. And that's not good. Josh Heupel does not sign up to be 97th in America in anything offensively, let alone throwing the football. So if Joe Milton, the doomsday scenario for the Vols is Joe Milton comes out, replicates his half that he had against Austin Peay. And by the way, anything's possible. Anything's possible this year in college football. We've already seen it. So let's say he comes out and replicates his half that he had against Austin Peay. Tennessee's down 10 or so points. Would they make a switch at that point? It wouldn't surprise me. Are they going to? I don't think so. But it might be a deal where the head coach says, that's it, I've had enough. They don't want to do that. They're really cheering for this kid. He's a great story. Tennessee's fan base is cheering for him. But it's been pretty hard to watch through a couple of weeks.
So I'm gonna let Kelly handle the Cooper Mays stuff here in a minute. I want to ask one Florida deal. Clearly, Billy Napier has caused a lot of what's the word? Uncertainty. The Florida base, they know that he was a very good coach at Lafayette, but since he's gotten here, it hadn't worked. And Tennessee offers a chance to get all these people off his butt. But what if it works the other way and Tennessee really rips into Florida? Then what for Billy Napier?
I think he can lose the fan base, but he's not going to lose that AD. Because that AD knows if he goes down, I go down. And you and I both know, we've seen the way these ADs operate. You've seen your fair share. They are political animals. As long as they can prop this guy up. Now, the only time that I think Strickland departs from him is if they tell him it's either him or you.
Yeah.
Because these guys are worms. These guys and gals, I guess I can say that. But at the same time, I don't think that guy has the appetite to make a change unless it's mandated on him. So my sense of Billy Napier is he's pretty safe this year unless he throws up a 3-9. George, they just don't have much team. I mean, they just don't. Now, I say that, and they'll probably have two freshmen that we haven't seen come out of nowhere and make like circus catches against Tennessee. The Vols are working. I'll give the Vols credit. While everybody else gets in line, like, here you go. Since 2003, LSU's beaten them 6 times in their building. Florida State's beaten them 5 times there. Bama's beaten them twice. Ole Miss has beat them twice. Kentucky has beat them twice. Vanderbilt has beaten them there. Missouri has beaten them twice. This is all in Gainesville. Texas A&M's beaten them there. Auburn's beaten them there. Mississippi State's beaten them there. Georgia Southern has beaten them there. Tennessee's going to work on a 20-pack this weekend. 20 years without winning down there. I guess that's actually a 10-pack. But I'm in broadcasting and I can't add. But the point is, everybody else is getting in line and getting some, but the Volunteers.
So, Kelly, I think he is saying is that the Florida Field Ben Hill Griffin Stadium mystique is done.
I don't know. He just called somebody worms. I really like that. Worms.
Athletic directors, particularly worms. Yes.
Worms.
Yes.
I want to go back to the Joe Milton thing. Just one deal. Is Heupel, which I'm for the kid too. I think you are. I think everybody. You just talked about the fans after all that he's been through. I think everybody's for him. But is this a case where Josh Heupel is like overly loyal to that? Or I mean, he at some point he's going to have to make a decision. And if he does make the decision to go with the young kid, I mean, that's just saying everything to Joe Milton. Like he's going to lose the kid. It's like if you like, I wouldn't want to have to go back to him. You get what I'm saying?
And that's the decision the staff's going to have to make, because once you go off him, you're going off him. We've seen that. I mean, when you take a freshman quarterback, a true freshman, and you just have a 5th or a 6th year senior, and you turn the page on that 5th or 6th year guy, goodbye. There's no turning back. So if you're going to make a decision, you better be triply sure that's exactly what you want to do. To your point, though, Josh Heupel's loyal to Josh Heupel's points and his yards and winning football games. Now, there is a scenario where they go down there and kind of slog around and, let's say, win 20-16, and he decides to keep him as his quarterback because he has Texas San Antonio, and then he has South Carolina coming up. And then they've got Texas A&M and Neyland Stadium. So you could, maybe rattle off some wins. Though against A&M, you're probably going to have to score some points to win. Probably have to get into a shootout with them. But, Kelly, it is a weird year in the SEC because quarterback play across the board. Here we're doing all this stuff with quarterbacks, all this extra tutoring and all these camps and all this, this guy on the West Coast and this guy on the East Coast and thousands of dollars. And I don't know that I've ever seen starting quarterback play as bad as it is in this league right now. So I'd like somebody to tell me where all this extra tutoring and where are the quarterbacks? What have I missed? And,
I told you.
By the way, in the NFL, half of the guys that are starting games can't play.
Wow, you throw it out there, Tony. I love it, man. I like it. You're absolutely right, because I presented this question before the season even started. Like, you've got so many unknowns at quarterback, and the quarterback play is not very good. And I will say this: I'm sick of everybody talking about, hey, the SEC, it just means more. Well, they've been pummeled in some games that really meant something. So I don't know how good the SEC is this year.
I find that highly accurate. I mean, look, when you step out of the league and Florida State puts it on LSU, everybody tells me go win the league. And by the way, the Daniels kid was the number one quarterback in the league coming into the year. He's going to lose his job. That's what's going to happen to him. And then you've got the Alabama result, which, I mean, I hate to tell people this. I saw that coming. Look, here's the deal with Alabama. You have to have playmakers. Nick Saban's known that the whole time. If Nick Saban went back to the NFL and took a team that was comparable to everybody else's team, he's a 500 coach. That's what he did at Miami. Hate to tell the Bama fans that. You guys have been worshiping this guy the whole time. What he is and was before the transfer portal was the greatest stockpiler of talent known to mankind. That's what he was. In the transfer portal era, what he is a guy that's had 40 guys leave his program in the last 2 years. There goes all your depth. So when guys go on to the NFL, you don't have playmakers behind them. And that's exactly what's happened. By the way, Alabama's not done losing yet. They're not done losing yet.
No.
And Georgia is the one elite team in the league. But I don't know that they have what you'd call like great quarterback play. I'll say this. Those people last year couldn't wait to get rid of their quote unquote little quarterback. I'm going to tell you something. He's better than the guy they got out there right now. So, the whole league is in a really, really strange state. And it's like that here in Knoxville. Like I said, Tennessee's 97th in offense, passing the ball through 2 games. Josh Heupel does not sign up for that. But are you going to throw a true freshman out there? I don't know. Are you? I don't think you are. But, the results across the board in this league as they've gone out of league, 3 big games. Florida up there with Utah, that was embarrassing. Florida's effort on that Thursday night. For Florida, I mean, that you're going to, look, I'm a Tennessee guy. I don't care if Florida can lose them all, so can Alabama. But if you're one of these SEC people, you gotta live with the fact that if Georgia loses a game somewhere along the way, and they have 1 loss against the schedule they're about to play in this league this year, they might not make the playoffs. That's what happened. That's why Florida State doing to LSU what they did is significant. Texas doing to Alabama what they did is highly significant. Because now you've got 2 teams that have an inside track for a playoff spot. All they have to do is run through their leagues, and their leagues don't look tremendous. Their leagues look like they could navigate those particular conferences. So if Georgia slips along the way, they might not make the playoffs, Kelly, and that's no joke.
However, Florida's win over McNeese will really up the ante.
What will?
Florida's win over McNeese.
Hey, you know what? Every time Tony's on here, man, I love Tony more and more because he just speaks it. It's like Tom Moore used to say, it's not about the X's and O's, son. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. And if you got them, you're going to win a lot of games.
You damn straight. Hey, how brilliant. I'm an Eagles fan, okay? I watch the Eagles Sunday slop around with Belichick's team. And I'll tell you something. He doesn't look so loud and seem so proud now without Tom Brady down there on the sidelines.
He does not.
What do you think they were talking about up in Kraft's booth?
Probably.
Y'all suck.
How about this, George? Tom, why is it when you smile, your face doesn't move? I mean, have you had enough procedures?
Oh, Botox.
Yeah, or whatever it is.
Wow.
Hey, last one. What is the deal with Cooper Mays? Is he going to be able to play this week?
Well, it's interesting, right? Now, behind the scenes, he's telling people it's going to be October. Cooper Mays is.
Oh, wow.
Josh Heupel, though, to the media, said yesterday he's going to play, and then was asked yesterday if he plays, and Josh Heupel finished that question with, well, if he plays. So Heupel said he's going to play and then said if he plays, the same press conference. You've been around a long time. When a head coach lets it slip out of his mouth, if he plays, Kelly, what's that mean to you?
Yeah, he's trying to play games. It's probably not going to happen. Yeah.
And I'm for that. Listen, I'm for the head coaches playing games because if I'm a head coach, I'm not giving out any information. The problem college football has versus the NFL product, the NFL has an injury list that you have to turn into the league office, and you can't fudge on it because people are gambling on those games. And college football has no commissioner, so they let these head coaches get away with whatever they want to get away with. And as long as you do that, I would sit up there. People say, well, that's lying. No, it's not. It's being a football coach. Lying is a lie you tell in real life. Being a football coach, when you get talking about your team and you lie about your team, that doesn't count. It's like eating calories when you go on vacation. When you're on vacation, it doesn't count.
Worms.
Yes.
Who do you inform that they don't count?
Well, I mean, George, have you ever known a football coach outside of maybe your guy, Watson Brown, who happens to be the godfather of Cole? Have you ever known a football coach not to lie?
By the way, he asked about you a couple of days ago. I told him.
He was lying.
No, I told him. I said, your son is doing well. He comes on every week, and he misses you.
I do miss him. But I'll tell you this. I've grown very fond of Kelly. And Billy Derrick in that last segment was terrific.
Let me say this, though. Let me say this.
Lies.
Kelly will turn on you. He's not a team player. He roots for me to lose in Plaster bet of the day. He's not what we're hoping for.
At least I tell you the truth. I tell you up front that I'm against you. I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush, you know?
Hey, Kelly, how long is the quarterback in Indianapolis going to last if they let him run around like that?
Ooh.
Is he?
Well,
is the goal to go to the hospital? What's that?
Well, it's the same thing with Josh Allen, man. And Josh Allen's played for a couple of years. I'm like, he was so juiced up last night in that game. He wanted to impress. He wanted to impress Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers got hurt the first 4 plays of the game, the fourth play of the game. But like he's jumping around and trying to run over. Like, what are you doing? You're going to hurt yourself. If you get hurt, we have no shot.
Yeah, okay, and I don't understand. I mean, these runaround quarterbacks in that league, you would think that a guy that's got, like you said, that's got some mileage on him, a big contract, get on the ground.
Please.
Do like the Mannings. Did the Mannings ever take a hit in their lives? Either one of those guys.
Peyton would lay down.
Was the worst. Hey, in Philly, we called him Sheeli because every time somebody come around the corner, he does this. Duck and cover.
Same thing. He would do the same thing.
I mean, stop, drop, and roll. And nobody ever said anything to those guys. You have to, you know, the heroes in the NFL don't last long that play quarterback. That's why this Jalen Hurts guy, you don't take on linebackers in that league. You do that enough.
He's starting to lay down now. I saw him the other day. He's starting to slide. It comes a point. There comes a point in the game, in the situation where you've got to go get something. But when it's the first quarter,
No, this Tannehill guy in Nashville, you know, all those hits on his body, you can see it. And when you lose your legs in that deal, even a little bit, it becomes very difficult to function. Yeah.
You're done.
Okay, let's speculate here. 6 o'clock Nashville time.
Yeah.
It'll be over about 9:15 Nashville time, 10:15 your time, and then you take over for how long?
Till 6 o'clock Eastern time, Nashville time.
In the morning.
I mean, 6 o'clock Central, Nashville time. There's no Eastern. What am I doing? Yes.
Oh, wow.
So
we're going to do like an 8-hour. We're going to do an 8-hour deal, probably.
Oh, gosh.
Longer or shorter, depending on if they win or lose, or same stretch?
Spoken like a true Vanderbilt mark. No offense.
You got it. You had to throw that in there.
Well, I mean, Billy,
Tony, do you want me to work for you or not?
Billy, I don't know. I'm debating it. I was getting ready to text you later.
You got to debate it, dude.
Billy, if the Vols win, it'll be the first time they've beaten Florida in 20 years down there, and they will literally be alive in this league because this league is so weird. If the Vols lose that game, I could probably stay until Monday afternoon because they haven't won down there in 20 years. So either way, we're going to have a nice long show. And the thing about our Garzalaw fifth quarter fan reaction is it's the only post-game show you need. It's the greatest post-game show in the country. And as we say, call somebody. I mean, it's incredible. We have more fun. And I had a guy call me today, and he said, man, I just want to apologize. He called the show the other night, and he said, what'd you guys think of that one Nico series? And I went, and it was like 1 a.m. when he did this. And I went to my panel, did I miss something? Did Nico play? Because George, I'm not a big, like you guys can tell, I'm not a big detail guy. I'm a whatever I am. I don't know, but I miss things in games. I thought Nico played and I missed it. And he calls up today and he goes, listen, man, he said, I just had a lot of brown liquor and I saw things. He goes, and I saw things, and I just want to tell you that I saw things. And then we had our first call the other night was from an 11-year-old boy. And I thought the kid was going to cuss. He was talking about the game, and I was like, because, you know, the show is it can get every once in a while a little out there, but I'm thinking I cannot let this little kid was getting ready to really say something to me. You know how some of these kids are kind of mature? Like you could tell this kid was he goes, the quarterback play was and he had that really high voice. And he goes, it just sucked. You know, and I was just.
Great. You are a piece of work. How can they hear it Saturday night?
So we're over at tclub.team. You can check me out at Tony Basilio over on Twitter. And we're also available. Make the switch to Twitch, as we're telling people. We have a Twitch channel. But we have a lot of fun. So we'll either be celebrating a huge win or crying into the wee small hours of the morning. But either way, I'm trying to prepare myself and get caught up on my sleep this week because I'm not going to get much Saturday night.
Yeah, you better get on with it. Thank you as always.
Hey, thank you guys. Be blessed.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Okay, after the break, by the way, he's terrific. He is hilarious.
Good.
After the break, Kelly Holcomb will rank the SEC 1 through 14.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes. How about that?
Did I? I've already forgotten that.
Just we'll roll it up there. Stay tuned. Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founders' passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Oh, I love that music. And I like Kelly's week number 2 SEC Power rankings. Kelly, talk me through them.
Well, I said it yesterday. Until Georgia is beaten, I mean, Georgia's still on top. They're still on top in the country. Obviously, quarterback play. We just talked about it with Tony. Quarterback play with all these teams. I just think Tennessee is the number 2. They didn't play obviously good against Austin Peay last week, and I'm not sure. We talked about. I'm not sure Joe Milton can get it done. I'm not sure. I'm for the guy. I'm going to say it over and over again. I'm for the guy, but I'm just not sure. I don't think he's accurate enough. I put Alabama there because Texas is really good. I think we saw that last year a little bit when Alabama went down there with Bryce Young pulling them out at the end. He had no help, but Texas D-line got after Jalen Milroe. He didn't have much time to throw the football, and he struggles throwing the football. Ole Miss, we'll see. Things are going to happen over time. We'll see what Ole Miss does. I'm not sure about the quarterback. I've never been a huge fan of his, but he played good, and he can run the football. He's a big kid. He can run the football, which – I think that's what Lane Kiffin wants. He wants a guy that's a dual threat that, they were the last week they were throwing people out. They were going 5 wides, and he would take off running. So I think that's what he gives them. LSU, I don't know if they're done yet. I think they started off like this. I think that Brian Kelly I don't know if he's on the hot seat, but didn't look very good in the Florida State game. We've talked about that more than one occasion. So I don't think they look very good against Florida State, but I think Florida State's really good. Arkansas starts off really good. I mean, it remains to be seen if they can finish it at the end. Hugh Freeze, I don't know if Auburn's very good, but I think they're better than I think they're better than the other teams that I've got listed. I mean, I really do. I think his coaching style they'll figure it out. I don't know if, they got 2 quarterbacks, and they always say when you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't really have one. So I don't know. I don't know if the Thorne kid can play yet. I know the other one's okay. We'll see. Mississippi State's going through a transition for Mike Leach. They still got Will Rodgers, who's really good. They're running the ball more. He didn't throw the ball as much as he's normally used to. I don't know about Kentucky. I don't know what y'all think about Kentucky. What do y'all think about Kentucky?
They've been underwhelming through 2 games.
Very much so.
They kind of struggled with Eastern Kentucky. What they have done is sort of the model that Watson has sort of espoused for Vandy. Get the 4 cupcakes non-conference, get the confidence built up, And so it's very hard in September to really know what Kentucky is. We'll see them here on the 23rd against Vandy. Maybe that starts to tell us a little bit. Who knows?
Texas A&M, I mean, they got murdered down in South Florida. So I just we talked about it last week, George. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's lost the locker room. I think he lost the locker room last year. I think that's why they were really bad. And I don't know if he's regained that locker room. I really don't, George.
Kelly, if that game is any indication, they're going to buy him out at the end of the year. Now, they're going to pay a king's ransom to do it, but they've got enough little J.R. Ewing wannabes to not put it past them to tell him to hit the road and go hire the guy from Texas San Antonio, which has been the rumor down there for a while.
Yeah, and it's amazing that, I put Florida at number 11, but good gracious, I mean, we've talked about it too. I mean, I think Billy Napier's a really good coach. He did a lot of good things at Louisiana. He's a Tennessee guy. They just did not look good at all. They beat McNeese, we get it. But I don't think they've got a quarterback. We'll have to see. I mean, all this stuff could turn around.
Sure.
In 1 week. I mean, they don't have any preseason games. They try to get all these cupcakes. Unfortunately, LSU had to start out with a tough opponent. They made the schedule. I'm sure they got paid a lot of money for it. But Florida, I just don't think Florida's very good right now. And it remains to be seen. A big test for them this weekend. I'm just not sold. I've never been sold on Spitzer Rattler. I know all those guys were talking about it. He had some really good wins at the end of the year last year. They were talking about how they're confident in him, but I don't know about South Carolina. South Carolina just seems like the old South Carolina. Vanderbilt, we all want Clark Lee to do well. He's got to have some help. They go to Wake. Wake's pretty good. Wake's gotten better, and Wake's pretty good now. And we'll just see how that goes. Their quarterback's got to play better, as we talked about the other day. A.J. Swan's got to play a lot better. Missouri, I don't know much about them either. I know that they only beat Middle by 4, and Alabama beat them 56-7. So I'm just not sure Missouri's very good. So that's kind of the way I see it right now. I mean, there's no rhyme or reason. I don't think the SEC is very good this year, George, Billy. I really don't. They've got it. They've got to show it, and with some games coming up, they probably will. But they've been whipped on in a couple of games that hadn't looked good.
In big non-conference stuff, they have laid some eggs. I know we got to run on that. We'll do this from time to time and see how much it changes. It's not very scientific, but it's interesting to take a look at. After the break, we'll have stat of the day, and then we'll go down to Tampa and meet up with an old buddy of mine going way, way back. And that's Paul Kennedy. And I see him smiling in the background. He's ready and raring to go. He's listening to Kelly and going, who the hell is that? Stay tuned.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
So who said I can't be a golfer? Well, you know what? This is X Golf, located just down the road from the Fordyce Center in Bellevue. This is fun. It'll improve your golf game, and you need to stop in and check it out. 8138 Sawyer Brown Road, and who knows, I may get to 200 before it's all over.
All right, I'm here with my buddy Chip Ward from Lincoln Home Loans. And Chip, it's football season, and it's also, it feels like it's moving season every time of the year, especially here in Nashville. Tell us about your business, Chip, and kind of introduce people to who you are and what you do here in the Nashville area.
Well, you're exactly right, Billy. It is definitely moving season, as it is most times, especially right here after Labor Day. Kids are back in school, and people are starting to think they want to get settled in before the holidays. And so what we are doing is right now we are getting a lot of people pre-approved for home loans. Inventory has ticked up a little bit. You know, it has been down, but it's rebounding a little bit. And right now is a good time to buy.
Chip, real quick before I let you go, tell people how they can reach you. And if someone is interested in your business, how would they reach out to you?
Well, sure. At Lincoln Home Loans, you can reach me at 615-500-7579. My URL for my application page is chipward.net, and my email address is simply chip@chipward.net. And so I'd love to hear from anybody. I can answer any questions about the whole home buying and financing process.
Top of the hour on a Tuesday. It's time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. You can find them 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, from noon to 5. Excuse me. And Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call. Not me. Give them a call at 931-492-4304. All right, let's see what we've got cooked up for today in terms of a stat of the day. We're going baseball. Julio Rodriguez is the fourth player to have a 30 home run and 30 stolen base season at age 22 or younger in history. Who is the youngest player to have a 30-30 season?
Oh, I think this is where we need to share the misery, Kelly.
Good luck, George. Good luck to you and Paul.
I got a couple of ideas, but let's just bring Paul Kennedy in here, because he's certainly a baseball fan, and see.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You see that question?
Pardon me? Yeah, I saw the question. This is my first instinct. I don't know if this is right, is to say Roberto Clemente.
Oh.
Not a bad, but that would be dipping way back into the go-back machine.
Okay. Ronald Acuna was one thought. Here's another. Barry Bonds. Not Barry Bonds. Bobby Bonds.
With the Giants?
Yeah.
Back in prehistoric times?
Yeah.
Yes. Back in old Candlestick Park days.
Well, they had to be running, and he had to hit with power, right?
Right.
So you could go Frank Robinson, Veda Penson. I mean, if you're going to say the first, who would be the first 30? Did Lou Gehrig run? Tony move him up, Lazary?
Wow,
he's going.
It would have to be after the dead ball era. After the dead ball era was over.
Yeah.
Did the Hammer run that well?
I don't know. Let's reveal it. This is a good question.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That's still a decade plus.
Wow.
Wow. Very good question.
Really good question. Big old Stumperino. Now, some of you from my radio life used to hear Paul Kennedy from time to time come on with us. At some point in his life, he has been the play-by-play voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide back in the mid-'80s. Later was involved heavily with Florida State University. He was the one who did just an incredibly emotional eulogy type of show for the late, great Bobby Bowden.
Wonderful man.
Currently one of the play-by-play voices of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and it is always fun to bring him on. Paul, say hello to Kelly Holcomb.
Kelly, wonderful. My
Paul.
pleasure, my friend. It's a
Yes,
pleasure.
sir. You too.
Absolutely. Kelly, this is an anniversary day, George being a Vanderbilt alumnus.
Okay.
I don't know that he will recall, but on this date in 1981, the Commodores dedicated Vanderbilt Stadium. And
Wow.
here we go. Let me see if I
Oh
got
my
this
God.
one
Now,
too.
hold on,
Wow.
Paul. Before you do that, Paul was Vanderbilt's marketing and promotions director at the time before the Alabama job.
This was that.
Yeah.
And then let me see the other side. Here is Jim Arnold, Andrew Coleman, who wore number 47. I somehow got, there you go.
Okay, there we go.
And then is that Ken Hammond?
Yeah.
Offensive lineman, played in the league, played on Sundays.
Kelly, they beat Boomer Esiason and the Maryland Terrapins.
Oh, Maryland Terrapins. Okay.
Jerry Claiborne was the coach, Kelly.
Oh, wow.
And Watson Brown had introduced a new offense, the spread and shred. And this is 1981, so it's way ahead of its time. And Vanderbilt hadn't seen that before. And Coach Mack brought Watson in, and Whit Taylor and Norman Jordan. They spread the field, and here we went. Shuffle passes, and they put a big number. The crowd was packed, 41,000. Roy Kramer had poured his soul into building that stadium. That was on this day. I never forget. Always my coffee on this day is out of this cup. And so here, for just one more time, I'll put on the foam finger. And go Vandy.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing.
Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic? And I thought so until about 10 minutes ago, and it's 4:00 here in the East. Until about 10 minutes ago, there were construction crews jackhammering next door. So I had to move to another room in the house, and they just stopped. But with Vanderbilt Stadium under construction, I said, how ironic that
Beautiful.
Here we are on this day. So
you remember it was so crazy. They made the team come back out after the win.
Yeah. And I remember C.M. Newton had been at the game, the head coach, legendary head coach of Vanderbilt. He and his wife, Evelyn, and they had been at the game, and there was fireworks and parachutists, and we spared no expense, and it was packed. And it was at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I went back to my office and just collapsed in my chair. And C.M. and Evelyn came by, and he sat down and he said, wow, that was a show, wasn't it? And it was a show primarily because we moved the football all over the place and won at the very end. But to have Coach Newton there and Coach Kramer, and I know what Vanderbilt can be, but that was, and Whit and Norman leading the league. Yeah, it was great. Kelly, when you get offenses, what's it like, Kelly, to call the right play? When
That's awesome.
And what's that feeling? You come up line of scrimmage, you try not to smile.
It's awesome. When I was with the Browns and Bruce Arians, which is down there in Tampa where you are. I mean, he's a consultant now. Yeah, he's I can remember there was a game where we were just on the same page, and I knew exactly what he was going to call before he called it. That's kind of a crazy deal to be in, a kind of crazy moment, a moment of focus. And, Bruce is my guy, man. I love Bruce to death.
I go back with Bruce Arians about 50 years.
Temple?
No, to Virginia Tech when he was
Virginia
the quarterback.
Tech. Oh, wow.
He was the quarterback. And they recruited him as a passing quarterback. And if you go online, you can see these great posed action pictures. He's got long flowing locks.
Oh, yeah.
He looks like Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, that's right.
He looks like Peter Frampton comes alive. There's Bruce Arians. He looks like a rock star. Well, they recruited him as a passing quarterback. Dan Henning was the offensive coordinator. And then Don Strock was the starter, and then Bruce. And then right when it comes time to be Bruce's job, they go to the wishbone under Jimmy Sharp. And,
Jimmy Sharp. He loves Jimmy Sharp now.
Yeah, Jimmy, he was his guy. And God bless him, because there he is. Now go down a little bit. Look down here a little bit, and you'll see the flowing locks. Look at that. See the flowing locks? Now he looks like Jimmy Buffett.
Back in the day.
If he had a guitar, you'd swear it's Jimmy Buffett. And but But he ran that wishbone, and he has courage, Kelly. He would come down on that defensive end and take the hit. That's my favorite right there. Look at that.
Bruce was a mad scientist when he was calling plays. Now, our quarterback coach, when I was in Cleveland, they had to get him out. They had to tell Bruce to go home because he would just be up on the board just doing all this stuff. And I'm like, good gracious, how many more plays have we got this week? He's like, we're trying to get Bruce out of the office.
He was addicted to it. He was absolutely addicted to it.
York, PA, man. He's from York, PA.
When he came to Tampa, and the noise quieted, and Brady came, and it stopped. And it's amazing, isn't it? When you have that atmosphere, and every week you were all business and you're expected to win, and he was dialing up plays, and guys running open. It was amazing to see. Tony Dungy had that a little bit. There was no noise when Tony was here either. And they have all these Hall of Famers on defense, and won the Super Bowl with Brad Johnson at quarterback.
Well, it's funny because I went down there when I first came in the NFL. I was down there with Sam White.
Oh, Sam.
Oh yeah, I was down there with Sam White and at One Buck Place, and and then Sam became my quarterback coach when I played for the Buffalo Bills. We kind of hooked back up, and I was it was terrible what happened to Sam. I used to talk to Sam at least once or twice a year, and he actually came up here to Murfreesboro to do a speaking engagement for me, and we played golf together, and I really enjoyed Sam. But I got my first start with the creamsicle uniforms and the big sombrero. Yeah, absolutely.
I love them. There were great games played there. The Super Bowl when Bill Parcells won his first over Coach Levy and the Bills. That was in there.
It was.
That was Desert Swarm, wasn't it?
Right after 9/11, and she sings that national anthem.
Oh, unbelievable. So,
I think maybe I'm a decade late. No, it would have been a decade earlier. Yeah,
decade earlier.
I also have a hat that I can send you all here if you'd like. I busted this out.
This guy's got more memorabilia than we know what to do with.
Listen, if you went in that house, you wouldn't believe it.
Jess Neely gave me this hat. Jess Neely. So,
oh, my goodness. So there you go. Paul, what is the temperature down there on Billy Napier?
Well, it's not good right now because they were disappointed in the outset when they lost to Utah. No disgrace in doing that. As Kelly could tell you, going out to Utah, they beat Utah at the outset of the year. But a year ago, but this is just his second season, and they're disappointed with their start. And so we come to as if a gift from the gods this week. This is a gift from the gods for Billy Napier, this game with Tennessee, because it's a great opportunity. When you win or lose, you're never as good as you think you are. You're never as bad as you think you are. And so here for him, if he could beat Tennessee this weekend in the Swamp, it would certainly change the temperature in the room down here. But he's only in his second season, and with the new quarterback Anthony Richardson from a year ago is starting on Sundays now, started for the Indianapolis Colts last week. So they're playing a Tennessee team that's 11th in the country. You know, I read a stat. It's the first time that Tennessee has played in the Swamp when Florida was not ranked since 1971.
Good Lord. That was Doug Dickey.
Yeah, that's Dickey and Bob Woodruff. I mean, we're going.
Yeah.
I mean, this is historical. So I think they are very, very capable of this. But recall the patience level in this era of college football is ridiculously short. He is 6-8 right now at Florida. And his predecessor with 8 losses, Dan Mullen, who's gone, was 29-8. Again, he's 6-8.
Ooh.
Ron Zook was 11-8. McElwain was 18-8. He's 6-8. Muschamp was 18-8. They ran him off. Urban Meyer 31-8. Steve Spurrier 27-8. It's been very frustrating. Losing to Vanderbilt was difficult for people here to take. So he needs a big win, and that certainly is not without the realm of possibility if he can get off the field against Tennessee. Tennessee's the much better team, and Josh Heupel and his offense and what they did last year at 11-2 and where they are right now. But it would do him a monumental world of good to win this game. Does that make sense, George?
Oh, absolutely. When you go back, Paul, to the stat of Tennessee hadn't won in the Swamp since, I don't know, it's been 20, 22 years. There was a hatred about that rivalry at that point.
Used to be.
What level of heat or hatred is there now?
I don't think it's at that ferociousness as it is. What did Tennessee lost 4 in a row or 5 in a row to Florida before they won last year? And recall, Florida was coming down the field. What did they have the ball at the 35 with 7 seconds to go?
Yep.
Could have won the game. And then Tennessee gets the pick with 7 seconds to go. They could have won. Was Joe Milton at the helm then a year ago?
No.
Hooker. You're right. So 11 months ago. So you're right. But it's going to be quite the scene. And the fact that in this environment, you have Miami beating Texas A&M, SEC school. You have Florida State running away from LSU, SEC school. And that's all this week in this state. UCF is winning and winning big now with Gus Malzahn and about to go to the Big 12. Alabama will be in Tampa this week to play USF. The offensive coordinator, Alex Goresh, at Tennessee is now the head coach at USF. But by comparatively speaking, the other teams are on the uptake. Florida State is what? 3rd in the nation right now? And I always think it's judged, George, by where the other schools are. The content in the Florida camp or the Florida State camp or the Miami camp, but really between Florida and Florida State.
Paul, we're going to go to the commercial break, and afterwards, I want you to get into your TV theory with the conferences that you gave me last week that I honestly had not thought about to the level that you have, and then you'll get better questions from Kelly after that.
Okay, I'll try. I'll do my best.
Stick around. Paul Kennedy joining us from his palatial mansion in Tampa, Florida, and we're back after this. Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
The George Plaster Show is Nashville's best sports talk, 2 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. There's a podcast version available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Looking for more than just awards and trophies? Southern Trophy House is your one-stop solution. For over 60 years, their team has created lasting impressions with a personalized touch. From embroidery to screen-printed apparel to corporate awards, signs, and name badges, they have everything you need to keep your brand shining bright. With their knowledgeable customer service team, you can relax as they create, produce, pack, and ship merchandise and awards on time and on budget. That includes etched crystal awards, custom-cut acrylic, name badges, embroidered Richardson ball caps, banners, screen-printed T-shirts, laser-engraved Yeti cups, and knives. Recognize your hard-working team from Southern Trophy House, where they do their best to help you recognize your best. Located at 2705 Nolensville Pike in Nashville, give them a holler, 615-256-7295. Visit southerntrophy.com. Southern Trophy House, for all your personalization and recognition needs. Tennessee fans hope they don't hear that song a lot on Saturday. That's Florida's fight song. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is where that game will be. To the right is Paul Kennedy. There he is.
You know what today is, George? It is National Alligator Day. I found
You know,
I'm not kidding.
Earlier, I know it. I saw it earlier.
And then I found this quarter. I just went to the store and got change. It's a 1981 quarter. So that's from today being the 1981 anniversary of Vanderbilt in our mugs. Here we go. Andrew Allegretta, the voice of the Commodores, is listening to your show. He just sent me a text. Nice mug. I got to get him one of these.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice show. I like your show, George. And
you know what?
Look at that. Pete Weber and Terry Crisp and Sean Henry, Bill Wickett. They'll love the set. This is great. Drop the puck. Let's go.
Let's go. So, Paul, you threw a theory at me a week ago about all this conference realignment stuff and what could really go haywire in this process, that I have not heard this theory the way you put it out there. Lay it on us.
I think the cable cutting is the great variable in all of this, that if television revenues are reduced by consumers pulling away from conventional cable, all right, and those revenues on a grand scale reduce, the networks that are guaranteeing to these conferences, in this case, say ESPN, $60 million a team to an SEC school, ABC, Disney, Cap Cities, Fox, what have you, where's the revenue going to come from? And that creates downward pressure on that, that you don't have those revenues able to be sustainable. But say for a school such as SMU, you just saw, their alumni are willing to underwrite basically a $200 million check to buy SMU with no TV revenues into the Atlantic Coast Conference. $200 million over the next 5 years is basically what Joe Burrow is going to make playing quarterback at Cincinnati. So it's really not an insurmountable check for them to write rather quickly to change the fortunes of a non-Power 5 school. But I think for the schools that are consolidating now into these 18 and 20 team conferences, where is the money going to come from if television begins to falter?
Do you think TV will begin to falter?
I don't know. What are you paying in cable today as opposed to what you were paying? I know I'm paying less, and I work for a cable supplier in Bally Sports. I broadcast or participate with Dave Randorf, Brian Ingram calling the games in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Bally Sports pays a considerable amount of money. But there has to be a ceiling with all of this. And when you have teams such as USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten and Fox and ABC, other networks, funding those universities, assuring them that there will be $60 million a year that they can each share. One could make a case it may not be there. It may not be there in the long term. And then where does the pressure come from? So is there a consolidation? Are there going to be 3 conferences now going forward? 4 conferences now going forward? Did not Vanderbilt earn more money last year in television rights than Notre Dame? They did. So I wonder how sustainable all of this is in the future.
Kelly, I told you it would be interesting. Say hello again to Paul Kennedy.
Hey,
Yeah, Paul, I just want to know, like, what does and we've talked about this with several people on here, but what does a team like my alma mater, MTSU, do? Like, I know they're going to get left out at some point, but like, what do you go from if you got 4 major conferences? Where do we go from there with all these smaller teams?
That's correct. A Southern Miss just came and played at Florida State last Saturday, Kelly. 30 years ago, I did my first game at Florida State, and they were on equal financial footing. Southern Miss used to compete more equitably with Mississippi State and Ole Miss. But Southern Miss came 30 years ago to Doak Campbell Stadium, and on my first telecast, our first game on what was then Sunshine Network became Fox, in Florida, Brett Favre was the quarterback, and our first touchdown was Deion Sanders picking Brett Favre off and taking it in for a pick 6. I don't know what became of Deion Sanders, where he's working now.
I don't know if somewhere out in Colorado.
Last time he was playing in the NFL, or maybe it was baseball. But those schools could compete then, Kelly, could they not? The revenues were reasonably close. Now, at $30 million a year difference every year that you continue to compound that, where does Southern Miss go? Where does Middle Tennessee go? Where does Sanford go? The model changes. Western Kentucky, the Independents, where do they go? And it's frightening to me over these universities. It really is. What about the old Southern Conference, where you have Sanford, the Citadel, VMI, University of Richmond, William and Mary? Where do they play? Does it go back to? Do they stay where they are, and the big schools just keep getting larger? And is that good? The desecration and destruction of the Pac-12 is very unfortunate. I wonder how history is going to look back on us for all of this happening, when you had 100-year conferences that have a historical significance in our culture and in our society going away in the pursuit of security, of financial security in greater numbers. I'm concerned about that. I wonder how we'll be viewed.
Do you think fans at some point just football is such a big sport now. It's taken over everything. And I can remember, being in those NFLPA meetings, and they're like, it goes back to what you're saying about the TV. They said we don't have to have anybody in the stands, which you saw during the COVID garbage.
Yeah.
But it's all about TV. But what if people just get tired of all the money that they gave, like a Joe Burrow, or all the money that they're giving? Do people at some point in the future get tired of all this and get tired of buying into all this stuff.
And there's no patience left when you have a coach, say, the Billy Napier. What has Billy Napier done that is he's been competitive. He's just gotten here. He's only in his second year, but he signed a contract, 7 years, $7 million, so $50 million. And they're already talking about what his buyout is. You see the scandal at Michigan State. What's the buyout? So it creates incredible pressure on the coaches. If you don't win, what's Jimbo's buyout? Why are we talking about buyouts? And how are we going to fund 70 million here and 50 million there? Buyouts. And then what we are paying players, name, image, likeness. Equitable that the players would have revenues now. No crime, good for them. But the revenues are extraordinary that the young men are going to be earning. Doesn't, I think Shamir Sanders at Colorado, his name, image, likeness is in excess of $3 million a year playing quarterback at Colorado. That's greater than the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys at the moment and what his AAV is against the salary in Dallas. It's just, maybe I'm just a very mediocre intelligence. I know that because my wife reminds me. But it's a lot to swallow in a very short period of time, isn't it? It's cataclysmic.
Well, I know, and you get Caleb Williams' father, the USC quarterback, the other day talking about it's not a lock that he's going to come out next year because, as you see, he's on all these Wendy's commercials now, and he's on these commercials. He's making $3 million a year. So why would you go into that pressure cooker when you can just stay in college, have fun, you can make $3 million?
You know better than
Paul.
You there?
I think somewhere we lost him.
We've lost Paul momentarily.
You're right. And you look at who else we have. You've got Michael Penix Jr. in Washington, Jordan Travis at Florida State, Bo Nix. I'm just going down. Shadir Sanders, Michigan with McCarthy. Quinn Ewers at Texas. What's his name, image, likeness at Texas now, having beaten Alabama? They come out early. Everybody's going to start coming out early like baseball. They're doing in basketball, one and done. You know when I knew the world was totally changed? When I knew the world was different is when Mike Krzyzewski at Duke began to take one and dones. That's when I knew the world was going to be different than I had known it. And now I fear I sound like the old man saying, "Get off my lawn." But I'm concerned about the beauty and the integrity of the college experience and earning a college degree and going forth into this world to make it a better place. But it's become entertainment. It's what college football is now at the highest level.
Seems like that's going by the wayside. So my last deal here is let's get back to where I started in the NFL. Let's get back to let's talk a little Tampa Bay Bucks.
You want to go back? By the way, you want to go to New York? There's a job open in New York right now. You can go play for the Jets. Kelly.
No. I'm done with that. I don't want to get hit anymore.
They got a line. They'll protect you.
I'm good.
They'll
No.
protect you.
I'm good with sitting right here.
I'm not sure how good a line they've got.
I'm good with sitting right here talking to you. I'm good with that. How's my man Todd Bowles? Like my whole coaching staff's down there. Tom Moore, Todd Bowles, Bruce was down there.
Moore.
Mike Caldwell was there. I love Todd Bowles.
Give him some Caldwell.
Yeah, Mike Caldwell was there. How does Todd Bowles outlook? I mean, they've got Baker Mayfield. Is he a stopgap guy or
they won this week? How good was that?
I know that was good. That was good. Yeah, they go to Minnesota and beat those guys. So
Minnesota.
Yeah.
What a gutsy call at the end on 3rd and 10.
How many teams has Baker been with? How long?
I don't know. It's been a bunch.
4.
You have to tell me. You have to be in the right situation, right out of school to make it stick, and then in each subsequent stop. And how many people have to like you, Kelly? One guy has to like you. 2 guys have to like you to be an advocate for you.
Correct.
And the room change, the chemistry in the room changes.
Correct.
And the guys look across you in the locker room and say, "This is our guy. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We can get out of this."
Correct.
It's the 4th quarter. We can get out of this. Tua Tagovailoa is just going through this transition. The great debate had been Tagovailoa out of Alabama, Herbert out of Oregon. Did Miami draft the wrong guy when they took Tagovailoa over Herbert? And Tagovailoa goes into San Diego this week and becomes the fourth quarterback to throw for 500 yards or 466 yards on opening day in the history of the league.
Yep.
And then they get out of it in the fourth quarter. He gets that pass. There's so many variables, and you can start off 6-0 and it all turn. I thought so. I hope it goes well for them.
It's very fickle in the NFL because I threw a touchdown pass one play. The very next play, when I was out there, I got cheered by 80,000 people in Cleveland. The very next play, I throw a pick and I get booed by the same 80,000. So it's very fleeting. We all know that.
Just your left tackle. Dude, don't be afraid to shut the door back there, please. I'm looking the wrong way. Kelly, gosh. The Browns. This is important. The Browns. I remember the Browns. The first NFL game I ever saw was the Washington Redskins welcoming, because I grew up in D.C., the Cleveland Browns. Leroy Kelly in that group in orange helmets and all white. The Cleveland Browns in the 60s and 70s, they represented, before Sam Rutigliano and Ozzie Newsome and the great teams they had there, but they stood for so much in this league. And so I'm always pulling for them. And, the Jim Brown before that, but that was when I came into I started following them. And those traditions, I think tradition is incredibly important. That's how you keep fans. That's loyalty. When you're not just pulling when you can pull for more than just a couple of guys, you can pull for the history of that team. So Cleveland, the old stadium. Did you only play in the new stadium? Did you ever play in the old stadium?
I just played in the new stadium. Yeah, I don't think I was ever in the old stadium.
Yeah. I went to NFL Europe and did.
No, I was there. I was in NFL Europe. I went to Barcelona. I was in Barcelona. Barcelona Dragons.
I got a picture in my living room of Sitges, where you stayed. Sitges, Spain, and the cathedral on the hill of Sitges.
Oh wow! I got that up here right now. This is crazy. Hold on, George.
Look at this. Carlos Santana in Mount Juic in Barcelona 20 years ago.
Now, hold on, Paul, because God only knows where Kelly's going with this.
Look, George, look. Sitges. That's what he's talking about.
Oh, my God.
Sitges, Spain, baby.
Nice.
Sitges, Spain. He knows where it is.
Don't go. Hold on. I'll be back. Hold on.
This is great. I love Paul, dude. He's awesome.
Kelly, I think before this is over, Paul needs to hear from Tom Moore.
So, you think so?
Yes, I do.
Do you think he knows Tom? You think he knows who Tom is?
Oh, I think he's got a pretty good idea.
Here we go, Kelly.
Oh, there it is. I've got golly, man. I've got that here somewhere. Oh, hold on.
That is Sitges, Spain. And that's George. The Barcelona Dragons trained on this beach.
George, hold on.
The hotel was on the beach.
But you don't get this on every show.
You can't make this stuff up.
Did you expect this to happen?
No, not quite like this. I knew it would be interesting.
Look, here it is, the cathedral right here.
Hold on. He's gone to get something.
Look.
This is very interesting.
There it is. There it is. Look. Is that not unbelievable?
You see my hat?
Oh, my goodness.
That's Barcelona Dragons.
Hey, you remember, George, when I brought that helmet on a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, I do.
I would tell
that
you,
is crazy.
We went, George, we had a game on Mount Juic. They played Scotland. And that night, Carlos Santana was playing in the arena there. So Brian Baldinger and I
Brian Baldinger
calling the game.
Yeah.
And they had a car for us and whisked us right next door to where the Dream Team arena was. And Carlos Santana was in concert. And that's
That's pretty good.
Jack Bicknell, was Jack your coach there? Was he
Coach
gone?
Bicknell was my guy, man. I talked to his son not too long ago. I'm trying to find out about Coach Bicknell. I don't think he's doing very well. I think he's got some memory issues.
Well, Jack Bicknell is here in Florida, and his wife helped me pick out that picture with Sam Rutigliano's wife, because Sam was working on his staff in Barcelona when I was there. And that hangs in my living room. I see Sitges Spain every day.
Oh,
hey, Coach Bicknell had the best line ever. He got mad at one guy, George Paul. He got mad at a guy, one of the defensive linemen, and he told him that his personality was like a half-eaten hot dog. You just lay there, son.
Oh,
I'll never forget that. That's like your boy Tom Moore.
Okay, let Paul hear a little Tom Moore.
Do you know Tom Moore?
The offensive genius that he is.
Offensive genius, yeah. Oh, yeah. He used to wear me out, dude. He would go. I don't know how much time we got, George. We still good?
Keep going.
Okay, so I'm in training camp. Okay, so this is, and I've told this story before on air. So this is the first. Bruce had this deal where, we were going to go 4-5 belly, and we were going to go away from the shade or to the tightest tackle, depending on the defense. So me and Peyton were in there studying film, and we had no clue what Bruce was talking about. So it just so happens that I'm the first guy that gets to play. So he called deuce right 4-5 belly, check with me. So I get up there and I'm lost. I'm like 10 seconds goes by, and then Tom Moore said, "I don't care what you call it, just call something and live with it, son." So then the very next play, Peyton has got the very same play. Deuce right, 4-5 belly, check with me. So Peyton gets up there and he goes, I can tell Peyton is like befuddled. I can tell he doesn't understand what's going on. He's confused like I was. So I'm looking at Tom, and I'm like, Tom, are you going to say something to him? So Peyton literally takes 20 seconds. He backs from under center, and he goes, yeah, I'm confused. I don't know. And Tom goes, that's okay, Peyton. It confused me, too. Just come on back to the huddle, son. He just, you know what I'm saying?
He dissed you, but it's okay with Peyton.
Yeah, it's okay with Peyton. And I'm looking at Tom, and I'm like, I want to punch you in the mouth, you old man.
Look at you. Don't play favorite. And then Peyton always is saying nice things about Tom. Oh, what a great coach he is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because he never said anything to him. Never said anything to him, man. That's great, though. Sitges Spain, man. That's awesome. That is unbelievable.
Fox called, and they sent me there, and I gave up Major League. I was doing the Florida Marlins. I gave up Major League Baseball to go over there. We lived in London, and we flew out every week to Scotland, Scottish Claymores, Amsterdam, where Kurt Warner was, Berlin,
Frankfurt, and Ryan Fire.
Galaxy.
Yeah, give me Ryan and Fire.
We would draw 40,000 a year. I mean, 40,000 a game in Frankfurt. The NFL's going back. And then in Barcelona, we would go to the beach. One time where we go in there, we had enough of Germany for 1 week, and we went down on a Thursday for a Saturday, Sunday game in Barcelona. And we go down there, in Southern California, like this, palm trees, and oh my God, Baldy's wearing his Duke basketball uniform when we get on the plane in Frankfurt. I mean, we're talking, basketball top, basketball shorts, Duke, headband, but we're going to the sunshine. It's about 30 in Germany. So we land there. Honestly, it's a Thursday, and the team is getting ready to go out at 10 in the morning to practice. And they all get in the cars, and the hotel's right on the beach, and they leave. And about 30 minutes later, here they all come back. We go, what's this? He goes, oh, the padlock. There was no one to open the gate, so Jack called off practice.
It's crazy.
We have practice. We got a game.
It was crazy.
Nah, we ain't practicing.
We're
and
good.
They went to the
We're
beach,
good.
played volleyball. They went and played volleyball.
That's awesome. It was cool.
And
it
how
was a
many
cool
guys?
place.
This is another big story here, George. That the league does not have a development league. They'll go and play games. Okay, that's great. You'll make money, and your showcase, you'll sell hats. But they do not have a league. It's the only sport where you cannot get reps away from Sunday. And we would play 10 games. It would be 600 snaps for a quarterback from April till June in real good football, better than college football with NFL officials, NFL caliber staffs. You say it, Kelly. How many guys came into this league through NFL Europe?
Yeah, I'm one of them, man. That was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
What great stuff. Paul, thank you for doing this. Kelly, thank you for contributing to all this. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Love you, George.
Go Dragons.
Paul, great talking to you.
Good talking to
See you, brother.
Yeah, babe.
Paul Kennedy joining us from Tampa, Florida. And Kelly, I told you he'd be awesome.
Dude, that's great, man. This dude's got pictures of the cathedral in Sitges, Spain.
Listen,
unbelievable.
You don't know the half of it. When he and Watson would get together from their old Vandy days, because Watson was this hotshot offensive coordinator, and Paul was equally the hotshot marketing and promotions director.
Yep.
And he used that skill to ultimately get the Alabama football play-by-play job. Ray Perkins hired him to replace the legendary John Forney. And that is, we actually did a game against each other. My Memphis State team beat his Alabama team. Think about that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's
that was
when
back in the day.
Yeah. No, it's back in the day, all right. 1987. Plaster bet of the day, a commitment to excellence. Excellent is coming up next.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between. Discover what Hit City has to offer. Single game tickets are on sale now.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Final segment on a Tuesday. It's time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000. Again, that's 615-242-9000. Or log on to their website. That's bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened last night. Jets got the win somehow, some way.
Yes.
It's called 4 turnovers from Josh Allen. That's how they got the win.
Yes, it is.
The Bills lost to
Yes.
In Vegas, they will pay you to be lucky. They will not necessarily pay you for being smart. You have to remember that. Kelly, look at that record. I mean, that is for real. That is against the spread. I am on fire.
Oh, gosh, George, save it, dude. Just pick a game and let's move on.
It really bothers you, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, it actually does bother me that you're doing this well. I mean, and I don't even know if you can go on a streak now of losing. I'm not even sure.
Oh,
You're 20 games up.
Oh, yeah, it can
And
happen.
he's still 20 games up, though, Billy. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah, we got
That's
a lot of football left.
Well, let's make it 21 tonight. Who are we going with? Yeah.
Okay.
Bravos.
The Hotlanta Braves about to clinch the division. They're within probably about 3 days of clinching the division. This is a good pitching matchup tonight. Zach Wheeler for the Phillies, Max Fried for the Braves. In Philly, I am a big Max Fried fan. Thus, let's go get him.
Yeah, let's move on.
Nice attitude.
Let's talk about something else.
Kelly, tomorrow our show will originate from downtown Nashville. Bart Durham moving into some new digs, and we are going to do our show from there.
Are you sure you want to be around him? You sure you don't want to have the facade keep going?
Wow. Wow. So very excited tomorrow. I've been down to their new digs, and it's beautiful. And Blair Durham, kudos to him for putting it together. We're excited about being down there. And Kelly, they're equally excited that you will not be.
Well, I'll be here. I mean, I'm not there in person, but I'm there on the video.
You wouldn't know where to find it anyway. I mean, it's in Nashville. We know.
I would find it. I would eventually find it. I might end up an hour late or so, but I'll eventually get there.
That's unacceptable.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Behave until tomorrow. Root on the Braves.
Yeah, go Phillies. See you.
Nice attitude. See you tomorrow.